Hello there, and a happy new year. So, if you're listening early 2022, I really wish you a wonderful year because I know the last 2 years haven't been easy for a lot of us. And so it looks like the pandemic is here to stay, or the coronavirus is here to stay. So, maybe it's time for you to design the life and the career you want, even with the pandemic, instead of putting things on hold, hoping that maybe one day this will go away and life will be great again. Because all the statistics show that the well-being of people is not great. So we really need to do something about it. And probably you feel it as well. You've worked a lot. You spend a lot of time in meetings, so maybe now it's a good time to really look back at your year, what went well, what should be improved, and look forward on what would you like to change in 2022 and who would you like to be. So to do this exercise, we have a Qileader Year review that you can find in the show notes of this episode and download for free. And the goal of this episode for me is to give you a review of my year business-wise. How is Qileader doing? How many people did we help? What went well? What went wrong? Or what should we improve? Just give you an overview, and hopefully this will inspire you as well to change your life, have a life more aligned with your values, or maybe to start your own business. So stay tuned for the Qileader review of 2021. So let's start with all the things that went well for us in 2021. Well, first of all, we had a great year in terms of number of people we helped, in terms of revenues. Of course, the more people you help, the more revenues you have, and in terms of profit. So we had a growth of 18% in revenue and have now 230,000 euro revenues. But for our online programs, that growth is even higher. It's 55% compared to 2020. Our profit also grew 10%, and we now have 40,000 euro profit for 2021. These are, of course, estimates because I'm recording this end of December and you will listen to it early January. So we have helped 309 leaders and their teams this year with our course Leading Authentically in Digital Times. And then 2,250 leaders were inspired by our free webinars that we give throughout the year. Maybe you've been in one about how COVID is killing the alpha leaders, about hybrid teams, about from digitalization to humanization. So we organize a lot of free webinars because for us, the business is more about creating a community of a new kind of leader and a new kind of person, and to really change the way businesses are led and organizations are built. We want human-centered organizations where people have impact, meaning, and balance. And to achieve that, we don't simply do marketing to sell you stuff. We believe that our marketing should already change the lives of our community. So that's why we organize also these free webinars. We've also helped more than 1,500 leaders with our leader quiz and our free ebooks. So we have a leader quiz where you get your profile and then 7 personalized lessons. So you can find it also in the show notes of this episode. And we have a lot of free ebooks to help you guys with how to save time at work, or the mistakes I made as a traditional manager, or about empowerment. We've had 7,500 listeners to our podcast, and you are one of them. So thank you very much for that. And in 2021, I did a lot of research around empowerment, and especially empowerment with hybrid teams. And that led to a webinar, a VIP event, but also to a new tool that we have developed called the Team Empowerment Assessment. And we've had more than 500 people take that assessment already. So it measures really the level of empowerment of a team, but also what are the success criteria to get there and your score on these different success criteria. So this is a really useful tool that we have integrated in our culture program, so in our in-company personalized programs, so that we can really start with a measurement and assessment. And we all know how important empowerment is if you want to be successful, especially in remote and hybrid teams. So a great year in terms of number of people we've helped, revenues and profit. It was also a good year in terms of balance, and not only for me, but of course for my whole team. So Tatjana and Daphne, we've all had a great work-life balance, and this is something that is important for us because everything that we teach, we also apply to ourselves. So we couldn't help you reach a better work-life balance if we wouldn't set the example. Like I said, we also developed a new assessment tool and professionalized our in-company program. So we're proud of that as well. We've also improved our processes and automation. So a lot in our business has been automated so that we can really be there to serve you guys. So we try to automate as much as we can so that we can be really there for helping our customers, talking to people, improving stuff, but not doing a lot of operational work. Then I've also spent 3 weeks in Costa Rica, and I went there half on vacation and half on a writing trip. So that was also a great experience because I've met so many nice people. I saw a lot of different animals. I did a lot of trekkings. I did a yoga retreat. So this was really huge in terms of adventure, and I needed that, and probably you need that as well. When we were staying at home for so long, I needed to meet new people. And I was also inspired and wrote already half the book that I'm planned to publish next year. A book about slowing down, slow leadership and stopping, because this is something that I noticed a lot of you are really failing to do while it's so important if you want to go faster. And then the last positive thing, I think, for us this year is that we have a new professional website. So by the time you listen to this podcast, it should be live, and we're really glad with that because we had 2 different websites. So we've combined those. Now we only have one, and it's again with a lot of automation, which will help us win a lot of time every time we have a new event or a new ebook or a new quiz we would like to offer to you. It will be much easier to present that on our website. Now, the things that are not so good or should be improved, well, the first one is Daphne, my colleague, is leaving to start her own company, Pulsitive in Sustainability. So it's great for her, of course, and I'm really happy for her, but it means for us looking for someone new, which we are in the middle of doing. And I will record another podcast about that because I really managed to streamline and professionalize and automate again a lot in that hiring process, and I would like to share that with you as well. But Daphne is leaving. She did a great job at Qileader, setting up a lot of things, and now we are in the process of recruiting a new person. The second thing that really should be improved is our lead management or lack of lead management. So we have a lot of things that generate leads, so that inspire people to come and visit our website. So we have a lot of leads that are generated and then we do almost nothing with them. So this is really something that we should improve because, of course, when you have a better lead management, you also have more stable revenues and also higher revenues. So if we want to grow, we should really improve that part of the business. And then also find new ways to generate leads, because we used to do quite some advertising on Facebook, but then it became really more expensive. And especially with the war, there was a little war that you haven't noticed probably between Facebook and Apple. But for us, it meant way less leads than before and more expensive leads than before. So we decided to stop Facebook ads, and we focused on generating our leads through our webinar events on LinkedIn. And then just 1 week ago, we were hacked. So there were really some people trying to steal our attendees by trying to send them to another website. So they didn't hack our profile, but they posted things on the event page, sending people to a fraudulous website, unfortunately. So we really have to find new ways to generate leads. This is also something that we need to improve. And the last thing I believe we should improve is our collaborations and partnerships. So we have regularly people that would like to collaborate with us, or coaches that are inspired by what we do. And I know there is a lot of potential there, and I really believe in building an ecosystem where you're not alone in trying to change the organizations and make the world a more human-centered world. But we really need to do some strategic thinking and start something up there. So we have a few collaborations and partnerships, but we would like to improve that also in 2022. So what are my goals then for 2022? Well, first of all, if you listen to me, and please listen to my podcast episodes about how to build a meaningful life, because I have designed a dream life. A life where I only work 30 hours per week, where I help leaders build meaningful lives and organizations, and where I can work where and when I want. And I've reached that. This was my purpose, and I've reached this. Now I can feel that a new life is going to be there for me, or a slight change in life, because my youngest son will start university. And in the last years, I've really slowed down my life. I slowed it down. I bought a little house in Spain where I went 1 week per month. And I really needed to create that space and to slow down. But then with the pandemic, and soon no sons at home anymore, I can feel that my life has become too slow. I know it's probably strange to hear that, because probably a lot of you don't have this slow life. A lot of people that I serve have these really crazy lives where you run all the time. But I used to have that life. I slowed it down, but now I want to accelerate it again and have more adventures, because my life has become a little bit too calm. So I still want to help you guys have more impact, meaning, and balance. But now I'd also would like to travel 2 or 3 times a year for 1 month, like I did in Costa Rica this year. Explore, meet new people, go on adventures, but also take a little project with me where I put no pressure on myself, like writing a book or maybe developing a new course, but something where I have the space to create without putting any pressure on me. And I really put a lot of thought in this, because if you listen to my previous year review, I said I wanted to prepare the business for me traveling a couple of months. But now that I did it like 3 weeks with my backpack in Costa Rica, I still love my business. I want to continue growing it. I have lots of ideas to continue and help you. But I really noticed that if you travel, it's not that easy to build the business like I would like to build it. So I could travel and keep the business as it is. That's completely possible. I could be 100% digital nomad, but travel and keep growing it with my team and also have these moments live with my customers, that will be harder. That's why I decided I'm not going to travel for a couple of months or a year. I'm going to travel 2 or 3 times a year for 1 month. And in between, of course, I still develop my business. But I want to be close to the city again. I live a little bit outside of Brussels, but I want to be in the city again. And so I've bought a new place in the south of Brussels, close to the university. I'm at walking distance from my favorite co-working there, Silver Square Louise, from a yoga room, from shops, bars, restaurants. I'm also at a walking distance from the woods. So I will really be having all the life and busyness of the city, but also the woods to calm down, and a great apartment, of course, where I can still have the quiet that I need. But I can really feel now I don't want as much quiet anymore. I want to be back at the center of Brussels and be surrounded by life again. So what will be the impact of all this on my business? Well, I'd like to grow it a little bit more. So I'm really happy with the revenues that we are making, with the profit, the salary, and everything. But now with a more expensive life at the south of Brussels and 2 kids going to college, it would be nice to have a little bit more revenues and more stable revenues. But for the rest, I really love the business as it is. And of course, I still have a lot of ideas that I will share with you. That's why we really need to improve the follow-ups of our leads. So in 2022, we'll also launch a new course leading to empowerment, a new book. I've written half of it already, and I'm planning to write the rest of it this year or next year in 2022. And we'll probably also increase our number of collaborations, and collaborations probably with coaches and consultants. Now, what I've also noticed is that every time I allowed myself to let things emerge and go with the flow, that's when great things happen for me and for the business. So I was thinking, how can I combine better lead management with going with the flow? And that's where the new profile of the person that we're going to hire plays a critical role. We're going to hire a great operational person. So Daphne was great. She was the right person when we hired her because we had a lot of new things that we needed to put in place, and she was great at that. But now we have a lot of things that are up and running that needs to be maintained and improved. And like I said, that lead management needs to be improved. So I really need my right-hand person, someone that sits next to me and really helps me implement all the crazy ideas that I have and better follow up everything that we already have in place. So that's my goal for next year. And who do I need to be to reach that goal? And this is really an important question that I want you to ask yourself as well. It's not only about looking back to what went well, what didn't go well, what would you like to achieve next year, but also who do you need to be to achieve that? Because if you think in terms of being instead of simply doing or having, but really being, it's easier to stick to those new habits and to really put the actions in place that will lead to your results. So who do I need to be? Well, I need to be even more focused for my recurring tasks and projects. And that will allow me to have more space for the things that emerge. And I also know that I have to let go of the need to be successful and stay aligned with my purpose instead. I truly believe that's when great things happen. It's not about achievement in terms of what society sees as success or having 1 million or 2 million revenues. It's really about what is the life I want to have and the purpose that I want to achieve for the people out there, for organizations, and also for the planet. But for that, I need to let go of that need to be successful. I know it's ironic, but listen to the podcast also with Tutti. I think it's just at the end of 2021. This podcast will help you also if you are a high achiever like I am. Sometimes that high need to achieve can stand in the way of your success and happiness. Okay, that was it for me today. Now, if you want to do a review as well, and I would really advise you to do so, it's a great moment, the beginning of the year. We have a great template called Qileader Year Review. You'll find it in the show notes of this episode. Now, I wish you a wonderful year 2022 with a lot of impact, balance, and meaning.